Hi, welcome to Designed for Connection, the channel where pull from the truth of science, psychology, and faith to help you flourish in the relationships that matter most to you. So, this is the third part in a three-part series all about shame and how it is the root of all evil. It really is, you know. So in Genesis, when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of good and evil, of knowledge, um, there were three things that got put into place. Shame, or hell, or the enemy of our soul, whispered in their ear, and it's still whispering in our ear the same old lies. You don't need God, and God's not good. You don't need one another, and it's unsafe to be vulnerable, so you got to protect yourself. And then I'm going to make you feel shame for doing that very thing. And so here's how it plays out in relationships. Okay, so in psychology, there's been a lot of great research around attachment theory, right? So, in a nutshell, there's these four different categories that are talked about. And I really believe that less than categories, we are on a spectrum with this. And it depends on what relationship we're in, what kind of attachment style we might show up with in any given moment. And the good news is that we can really grow and learn how to become more secure in our relationships. None of us are perfect at it. None of us. Okay, so there is the secure relationship, the secure attachment. And I think that we can kind of go in and out of this. Most people who are in this category have earned it, and so that kind of category or that place on that spectrum believes and acts from a place most of the time that says, I'm okay and you're okay. So I believe that we can talk and be vulnerable with each other and learn how to work out our different perspectives at any given moment, and I will feel safe, you know? Okay, so that's the ideal place. Most of us don't often live there, especially in our most intimate relationships, usually with our spouse. Then there's the anxious attachment. And this kind of place on that spectrum believes that you're okay, but I'm not okay. And so I'm going to scramble. Why haven't you texted me back? Why didn't you call me back? It's been a whole hour. What's going on? Are you still thinking about me? Like believing that somehow my security and my um, sense of stability depends on you, and you're the one who helps make that happen for me. But I'm so anxious. I got to make sure that you are still there. Are you still there? Okay, so that's usually what anxious does, and in relationship, I can pull from this a lot. How it shows up is I can actually be pretty critical. I can be judgmental. You know, if I'm feeling disconnected from my husband, I can have a tendency to go to, oh my God, why is he still looking at that, at that movie? He needs to be in here with me. And I haven't asked for that. Or, I can often, I can, go out loud with that. I'm much better than I used to be, but I can go out loud with that, like, what are you doing watching a movie instead of being in here connecting with me, you know? And so it can be very critical, can come across very judgmental about whatever the other person is doing, actually, because I am anxious. So this protection mode comes up, right? Okay, so these are all these these ways that are not necessarily secure, that we are actually dealing with shame. Okay, so the avoidant deals with shame and deals with this uncertainty in relationship by believing I'm okay, but you're not okay. And so you're over there being anxious, being needy, being critical, judgmental, whatever it is that kind of falls under that anxious category. And the avoidant person will believe that they're okay and they don't need anybody. They're believing that lie, right? And so, which the anxious person can get to as well, right? If they're feeling so anxious and the other person is being extremely avoidant, or we flip into like, I don't need you, I'm done, I don't need you. um, and so the avoidant really goes into their cave or their shell and just is fine and dandy all by themselves. But the problem is the people that love them most are feeling isolated or out of the loop, not knowing what's going on with them, right? But they're fine and dandy. Yeah. They don't need anybody. Okay. So there's a problem with both of these ways of being. And then that other way that I talked about, there's four kind of categories of attachment is kind of goes back and forth from the anxious and the avoidant. Um, I'm not okay and you're not okay. It's that come here, go away. I want to be in relationship with you. Wait a minute, it's too painful. It's kind of this back and forth, back and forth. And the truth is, I believe we're all on a spectrum. Depends on the situation, depends on the relationship, depends on the moment of where we're at. If I get hungry, angry, tired, lonely, or halt, that whole thing. Or if I'm hangry, I'm hungry. Um, then I'm going to act differently than if I'm well rested, if I'm satisfied, then that kind of thing. I'm going to show up differently in relationships. So we're somewhere on this spectrum. But my point in sharing all of this is these ways of attaching, the way that we show up with God, the way that we show up with relationship with others. These are ways, these avoidant ways, these anxious ways, or the anxious avoidant, somewhere in between, are ways of dealing with our shame. They're protective mechanisms that keep us at arm's length or further from our loved ones. It's buying into the lies that our shame attendant is telling us. And the shame attendant, remember, is all about destroying, not just keeping at bay, but destroying your relationships. And they blow up. They can blow up, leading to divorce, leading to parting of ways, with a friend, leading to estrangement from our children or our parents. These ways that we navigate, um, covering up our shame and protecting ourselves, and they are not productive. Okay, so we have another video coming up that has a lot of hope for you, and I hope you'll tune in.